talk about how you can make more money in your home bakery business. So who already has a home bakery business started? Okay, so if you already have a home bakery started, put that in the comments so I can see. Today, I'm not talking about macarons today. Today I'm going to talk about how to make more money in your home bakery business. Oh, good. So there's a couple people that already have their home bakery business started. How many years have you been doing it? Made a perfect batch of cinnamon roll macs today. I was so excited. That sounds so good right now. Are all of you macaron bakers? Are all of you selling macarons or other stuff as well? Only macarons just for custom orders. Yeah, people, don't forget you can just do custom orders if you want to get started, but you don't have a lot of time. Okay, so if you've seen a lot of my YouTube videos, you probably heard me say a lot of these things, but if you are in a state that allows farmers markets and pop-ups, I would definitely get in on those. How many of you have done farmers markets or pop-ups? Yeah, let me know if you've done farmers markets, pop-ups, and if you haven't, why you haven't. Did my first pop-up at a drag queen bingo event 2 weekends ago. How'd it go? I have my first in 2 weeks, really nervous. Oh, good luck. First farmers market or pop-up? Okay, Posh Tea Time said you've done pop-ups. No farmers market yet as lockdown in Sydney. Small events and flash sales. I am doing several, and every month there are 2 for sure that I signed up. You sold out. That's awesome. Did my first local farmers market last Saturday, and it was a big success. Is anyone noticing a pattern here? A lot of these people saying sold out, big success. Do farmers markets and pop-ups if you can. Did one vendor event and it flopped, wasn't hyped enough. Do a flavor of the month and limited spots via Facebook. That is something that sometimes can be a problem if it's an event someone else is putting on, that they're not promoting it enough. But you can promote it yourself. But how would you know that they weren't promoting it enough? So I always like to promote it myself and just assume the vendors are not promoting it at all and just do all the hype and promote it myself. Only sold my first orders 2 only so far, and I wanted to do a farmer's market. Never done either. Job schedule didn't allow it. Just started a new job, so hoping I can do more. I do hear that a lot. A lot of people work on the weekends and they can't do the farmer's market. That's when I would suggest pop-ups. I haven't done any pop-up stores because I'm scared I would be overwhelmed. So I hear that a lot, but with that kind of stuff, you can just warn everyone that I'm bringing a limited amount, come early, we might sell out. Just bring what you feel comfortable bringing. And always try to bring a lot, but if you can't, bring what you feel comfortable bringing, and just warn people that, get here early, we usually sell out. And that is sometimes even a good thing, because then people know they have to get there early and buy when they can, instead of walking around, coming back. So yeah, if that's what's overwhelming you, you can just kind of control it however makes you comfortable. There's slots open in my area for farmers market, but I wouldn't even know where to begin. What would I need? So I have a YouTube video that tells you how to kind of start up at a farmer's market, the kind of equipment you need. Yes, can you explain what a pop-up is? Sorry, I'm completely new. Someone on Facebook just asked what's a pop-up too. So, a lot of people have different definitions, but what I'm talking about is you ask permission, say like a shop owner, say we have pop-ups here. So someone will come to me and say, can I do a pop-up shop in your store on Saturday? Or I would go to them and say, notice that we have similar products, or not similar products, but similar audiences, and say, do you want to do a pop-up? We're having an event. Do you want to come in from 11 to 2 on Saturday and set up and sell? So they call it a pop-up because that person would come in. We usually provide the table. They would bring, if it's a sugar cookie, decorated sugar cookie, they would come in, set up all their sugar cookies, promote it on their site, and then they would just sell whatever they sell and then pack it up and leave. So it's just pop up because you're just popping up and leaving. So it's like a little, it's actually really, it's a really good way to make, like, get new customers, because all of our customers that are coming into the shop for us are also seeing the other baker, or like we have like jewelry makers come in and stuff like that. So they already have our audience that we're promoting. So my 30,000 followers are going to see that this person's coming in. Her 10,000 or whatever she has is going to learn about my shop. So it's really good. Oh, I love the idea. Yeah, it's a really good crossover. It's good for both. If you can show if it's a shop that has never done a pop-up before, if you explain to them, I'm going to be bringing in a bunch of people that are going to be shopping at your store, and your people are going to be coming to my little, not booth, but table. Like, it's a win-win most of the time. Can you, oh yeah, I did that. Okay, wanted to do pop-ups, but don't know if some places are not allowed. Can you talk about it? So, most states are allowed to do pop-ups because you're the one selling it. So it's kind of under the same category as farmers markets, usually in most states. So a lot of states aren't allowed to do wholesale. So that's when you sell to a business and then that business sells to the customer. You are not selling to the customer, you're selling to the business with wholesale. But if you're doing a pop-up, you're selling to the customer. So that is often allowed because it's not you sell to business, business to customer. It's you selling to a customer, just like you would be doing at home, just like you'd be doing at a farmer's market. But if you mean some places are not allowed, like some shops, yeah, some people don't want to do pop-ups because they might consider it competition or they just don't want to deal with it. But a lot of like boutiques, like clothing stores, like we have other bakers come in sometimes. Like, a lot of people would say that's competition, but I mean, not really. Like, we have someone who makes custom sugar cookies, like the decorated kinds, and sometimes we'll have her come in on holidays, and people will just get in line for her, then go next to the Macaron line. Like, it's not, like, people can buy one of each. It's not like a car, you know? So as long as, I mean, I probably wouldn't have a Macaron baker in here, but anything that just complements your product, like we would do a theme. Like when we had brunch day, we had this cookie decorator come in, and she decorated her cookies like a brunch theme, and I made mine all like brunch, like mimosa, cinnamon roll, maple bacon, flavored, and people got a lot of each. Like we both did really well that day. Trying to get farmers market, but worried about packaging. Oh, okay. What kind of questions do you have about packaging? I am hoping to do weekly flavors, but how can I get customers for this? At the moment, I'm only doing customer orders. So I would promote it on all my social media if you're just starting. How far in advance do you promote? Okay, so it depends. I like to do maybe, if it's going to be a big event, if I'm really going all out, I will create an event on Facebook and share it. I'll create an event on Facebook maybe a month ahead of time. This is if it's going to be a big deal, if I want it to be a really big deal. I'll create an event on Facebook and invite people and like make a big thing of it, and be posting about it. Like I will tell people on Instagram in my stories maybe, and probably a post about it like a month ahead of time, and then maybe every week up until a couple times a week up until the week of, I will post about it, and then the week of I'll post about it every day. But it just depends on the size of it and if I want it to be like a really big event or just something, because sometimes I'll just do like a week ahead if I know that I'm not going to be able to produce enough macarons. I offer a monthly macaron pack of 6 assorted flavors, and people literally flock to get their order. Yeah, I really like the monthly one because people want to try the new flavors. Also, do you do pre-orders for pop-ups and markets? That also depends. When I was as a home baker, I had trouble keeping up with orders, so I didn't as much. But sometimes now, if it's like before COVID, I didn't, because I wanted people coming in, and I knew if they came in and saw all of the macarons, they would buy more. But For pop-ups, it depends, because sometimes it's better to do pop-ups because the customers will be happier, but then sometimes if they come in, see the flavors, they'll want to buy more. But also, a lot of people will get the pre-order and come in to pick it up and then say, add on these. So that's kind of just up to you. I do have a lot of people that would come, like for the farmer's market, say, can I order this many, and pick them up at the farmer's market. So if you had them pay ahead of time, that could be something you did. Do pop-ups have fees? No, that's the cool thing about pop-ups. They are just like, usually just, unless it's like a shop that has done this a lot, usually it's just you going in and setting up, and it's not like a super official thing. But farmers markets have fees. Every farmers market I've done has fees, and also usually you have to get insurance. So I don't know if you have to get insurance for, it depends on the pop-up. I always recommend getting some if you're going to really start your business to take it seriously, so you already have it for your farmer's market and for pop-ups, because that is kind of a good way to let the person if they're kind of worried about that, you can say, I have insurance, so you don't have to worry about it. This might be a state-specific question, but do people typically need to jump through a lot of hoops to do events in different towns, or is it something you can do without checking with people first? Example, check with the Board of Health in your town. So most of the states, if you get your cottage law license or whatever through a certain state, you're good in the whole state. So it's like, California is a little different. Are you in California? Because California, sometimes they go by county, but basically it's just you getting inspected in your area and what your laws are and the rules in your area, and then you can sell statewide in most states. So like I started in New Bremen, and I got my license in New Bremen, and I would go to farmers markets in Troy, pop-ups in like Troy. I did some farmers markets in Columbus, which is like an hour and a half from New Bremen. So Massachusetts. So yeah, most of the time it's you get your license here and then you're allowed statewide. Any tips on subscription service? Well, what kind of questions do you have on it? Have you already started doing it? I would just say keeping like new flavors coming up would be a good way to start. What kind of labor maker do you use? Oh wait, do you mean label? Yeah, it will show up on my IGTV. Okay, I'm going to start my third farmer's market in about 2 weeks. Haven't yours been going really well? If I said to a client I will be in the parking lot of a park for a pop-up is allowed. So that's where you'll have to talk to like the town or whatever. You probably just can't set up anywhere. I mean, definitely you can't just set up anywhere. The pop-ups that I do a lot of the times are in a store. Like I haven't done a pop-up in a while, but when I was a home baker, you would go in the store, set up a table, or sometimes if they have like events on the streets and they've already okayed it with the town, you can set up in front of their shop. But when you're doing outside, it gets a little tricky. But most of the pop-ups I do are inside the location. We are trying to find shops that will allow us to do a pop-up. Gave 5 of our afternoon tea to go boxes to network, but no calls yet. The feedback was that our product was wonderful, but what gives? So how did you do it? So you gave them boxes, and did you talk to them? Like, what did you say to them? How did you tell me everything that you did up until that point? Like, did you leave business cards, or what'd you do? Wondering if we should do a launch party. So, I mean, that kind of stuff is fun. Like, if you've got the time and you can do, and the resources for that kind of stuff, I love that. Like, events and just anything, just getting out there in front of the people and just meeting people. That kind of stuff is really fun, and I do recommend it. What service do you use to ship? Thinking of adding this to my business next. So I don't ship right now, but if it's someone that is like knows me and they really want me to ship and we talk about it and I'm like, it's going to be expensive, they might break, then I will use FedEx. And that shipping, when I do it, I do overnight, and it's, outrageously expensive. But if we've talked about it ahead of time and they still want it after I've said all of that stuff, I will do that. I don't like shipping. I usually don't. But when I do it like bulk, I ship with USPS because it's the cheapest. And the way I package it, I have a YouTube video on this if you want to go watch it. The way I package it gets them there good. Maybe a couple will have a little cracks, but it's usually fine. My main concern is over baking and having a ton of leftovers. Did you say you do macarons? Because you could always freeze them. Is $24 for a dozen macarons a good price or too low? I think it's too low, but it kind of depends on your area. Where I am at, North Carolina, every pop-up where I am a vendor, I need to pay a fee. So it sounds like you're in an area that's like accustomed to pop-ups, where here no one really knows what a pop-up is. Or I mean they do, but like it's newer, so people don't already have like guidelines in place. What's the fee there? And like every shop that you want to go into, they have a fee. How much do you charge for your macarons? So in this shop, we say if you buy one, it's $3, but if you buy more than one, it's $2.75. And then, so that just gets most people to get to. But if I'm doing bulk, it goes down 5 cents for every 20 after you hit 40, and then stops at like 100, and then goes down 5 cents every 100 until you get to 300. Pennsylvania requires a special license for farmers markets, then you're covered statewide. Yeah. I'm new to your channel and this live. Can you explain what a pop-up is or how they work? So I have a YouTube video on pop-ups, and I'll be saving this, and I did a good explanation towards the beginning of this. But basically, you go into a shop, sell for the day, and then pack up and leave. That's what someone else said, Barbara, that the audio's better on Instagram. I talked to them and left business cards. Okay, did you tell them that you want to do a pop-up? And have they done pop-ups before, do you know? I'm a stay-at-home mom, new college graduate, whose kids just started school. I'm not getting a whole lot of business, and I'm now trying to figure out if I should business. Are you doing, it looks like cakes from your username? What are you selling? And how are you kind of marketing now? Macarons, but also cookies, cupcakes, and would bring some breakfast items to a market. That's a good idea because it's in the morning. Yeah, if you're not already, join the Facebook group, but I would freeze some of that stuff, or I would just make less. Like, after a couple markets, you'll start to see how much you need to bring, and you'll get the hang of it. But at first, I would just bring less, or freeze it, or do, like, I'm going to say sale, but I don't mean sale. I don't mean, like, lower the price, but, like, a sale after. Like, I have this much left. Post that on your social media, on your stories. Most people in the program now, when they do that, it sells, they get rid of them quickly. But I'm not saying like a sale, like bring the price down. If I ran a commercial kitchen to make macarons, would I still be considered a home bakery? Would I be able to sell macarons that need refrigeration? I'm in Ohio. No, a home bakery is just baking at home. But why are you considering a commercial kitchen? Because in Ohio we have, I'm not saying like why, like don't do it, but in Ohio we have the home, like we have cottage laws, which means you can't sell anything that needs refrigeration, and then we have the home bakery laws, which it requires an inspection, no carpet in the kitchen, no animals, and like $10 a year. And I think you only have one inspection, not a year, just one inspection in the beginning. And then you can sell some refrigerated stuff. But if you do want to do a commercial kitchen, if that's the right thing for you, then you would not be a home bakery. You would be able to sell macarons that need refrigeration. You'd be able to ship. You'd be able to sell out of state. And apparently with the home bakery license, you're allowed to sell out of state. I straight up asked my health inspector that came in and inspected when I was a home bakery, and I said, I'm allowed to sell out of state? And she said, yes. And it says it on the website. So I didn't believe it, but she said it, and it says on the website. So no, there are certain venues, and they organize monthly pop-ups, and it's anywhere between 95 to 110, depending if you're returning one or not. Okay, so I would go like to smaller shops, like boutiques and stuff that maybe aren't like doing, I mean, still do that. If they're charging 95 to 110, usually they're getting a lot of business and they're doing something to promote the business. But if you don't want to deal with that, if you don't want to pay that, I would just go to smaller shops and places that aren't doing a lot of pop-ups and talk to them first. Like, just maybe start small. Okay. I like how you guys are all saying hi to each other. Cakes. Oh, Google. Okay, cakes and cupcakes. So are you promoting on social media at all? I just started following you and I'm stoked. Thank you for following. Everyone in the grocery store is listening. I have you on speaker while I'm shopping. The prices you have now in your store, did you start off with those prices? No. So I started with, I think it was, well, maybe it was $250. And then when I opened the store, I did $275. Yeah, I think so. And I didn't have, like, a lot of people have other macaron bakers in their area. When I first started, I was the only macaron baker here, so I didn't have anything to compare it to. A few have done pop-ups before, a few have not. I have a contract with a commercial kitchen, and a lot of my customers feel more comfortable when I advertise that. Yes, if you're in a commercial kitchen, definitely put that in your bio, put that on your website, yell about that. So what I would do, I've said this before in my YouTube videos, but every single wholesale, I'm going to compare it to wholesale because it's kind of like you bring it in and they have to okay that you either sell them there or do a pop-up. Every single wholesale account I have now said no at first. And I just kept coming back and like saying I'd wait a little bit and not bothering them, but just I was very persistent. So every single wholesale account I have now said no at first. So like, don't be afraid to kind of keep reaching out, because a lot of the times they don't see how valuable it would be for them if you do have a lot of customers that'll come in. And once you get in there and just do one, they'll see, okay, we like this. This is something we can keep doing. And then maybe you could even do it like once a month. Yeah, the cottage laws are very similar. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio, but started my business here in Georgia. Do you know what refrigerated goods can we sell with a Permit B cottage food? What state? In California? Yes, I'm posting on Instagram and Facebook, but not attracting many followers. Any advice? So, are you doing anything to get followers? Are you like posting reels, or how often are you posting? Nice. I'm planning on creating a missionary kitchen at my house to minimize overhead. Yeah, that would be cool. April says, I'm in Northeast Ohio and I'm swamped with macaron orders. No one else is making them around me. Selling at $12 for $24. Would you increase prices? Maybe I can't keep up. If you can't keep up, raise your prices. It sounds like you have a lot of demand for them. Definitely up your prices. And it might kind of get scary at first with people not ordering, but it'll come back, and I think you definitely should raise your prices. Okay, I'm going to answer questions about the Home Bakery Blueprint program now. So if you have any questions about that, ask that now. Or if you don't even know what it is, ask some questions. The reason I want to rent a kitchen is because all good fillings need refrigeration. That is true. A lot of the good ones need refrigeration. Look into the home bakery license in Ohio. That's what I did. I went from cottage food, when I was a home baker, I went from cottage food law to home bakery, then to storefront. But my plan was to do cottage laws, home bakery, commercial kitchen, then storefront, but a place just opened up that really worked for me for a storefront. When is enough free samples, impulse, and product to potential shops? So I brought it around to a lot of different shops in the area, and then everyone said no or didn't message me back. And the one I kept messaging, some gave me like a hard no, and you can kind of tell when it's like, that's not going to happen. But other ones were more like, now's not the right time, or, you know, they just kind of ignored me. Then I improved my packaging and like would bring in more samples after a while. And then just after a while, one took 4 years. Was it 4 years or 3 years? One took 3 years, but I just knew that this place would do really well with the macarons, because everyone in that area was telling me, we want macarons, can you have them? And this was the only shop in the area I could have them. So I literally bothered them for 3 years until they finally gave in, and they were like, let's just try it. And I was like, you think? And now they get them every week, and they're always selling out. How do you get more info from the blueprint? Does the blueprint grow with us if we plan to maybe transition to storefront as well? Okay, so you can message me if you want more information about it, but it's for home bakers, not just macaron bakers. Home bakers that want to grow or start their home bakery business, and it does grow with you if you plan to transition to storefront. A lot of people in the program started as home bakers, and now they're moving to storefronts or commercial kitchens or stuff like that. It's not set up for that, but we have a weekly group coaching call with me through Zoom. So that's when I tell people, if you're going from home bakery to storefront, or you want to, you'll use those calls to figure that out. So if you want to apply, Jalen's linking it in the comments, or you can go to my Instagram profile and it's in the bio, or it's on my website, or you can just message me and I will send you some more information. I don't have a sign yet for like a table. Would you say that's not important and just print some business cards to do your first farmers markets? Every farmers market I've done, I've had to have a sign behind me. So you might have to, I mean, it depends on the market. I think it's important just because a lot of people won't know what you're doing, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal, especially for your first one. Do you really profit to live on from baking? Like, can you really make a living from baking? Yeah, definitely. I did it part-time for the first, I don't remember how many years, but then went full-time on it and then opened this storefront. 4 years, OMG, persistence. I was just like, there's no way they're not going to do this. Like, I knew that it would work out really well. I knew there were people. I just can't take no for an answer when it's something like that. Does the blueprint cost? Yeah, so we have a couple different payment plan options you can do. Message me if you're interested in that. Applied for the home bakery blueprint. How to know if I wasn't selected? Thank you. So I am just going to be getting back to people. I'm going to try to get back to people tonight and tomorrow. So if you weren't selected, I'll tell you. If you just haven't heard, it's just taking me a while to get back to everyone. So yeah, I'll get back to everyone. I joined the home bakery blueprint around this time last year, and I'm transitioning to a commercial kitchen next month. That is so cool. I'm screenshotting that. Yes, I'm very proud of all the people in the program. They're doing really, really well. I just booked a birthday order by showing my Instagram page to someone in the checkout aisle at the grocery store. It is cool because it's like the new business card. Like I rarely hand out business cards because I can just say, this is me on Instagram. Yeah, I mean, other places I knew, like, okay, whatever, like that town, they don't know who I am. I don't know if it's going to do well. But this town, I was like, I'm 100% sure this is going to do really well. I have to keep bothering them. What's a good candidate for the program versus someone who's not? That's a good question. So I'm looking more for people that are like, they're not expecting me to like push them. Like, they're self-starters, they're, you know, working on this, they just don't know how to do it, or they're just overwhelmed, but they're like, you know, not looking to me to like constantly be like, did you get this done? Did you get this done? Like, I need people that are doing this on their own, self-starters that just need some help and guidance. So I'm not like pushing you to start your home baker business. If you don't want to start your home baker business, don't, you know? That's not a good thing for me to try to convince you to do. So people that just need help, need guidance, but are ready to work and do what you have to do. Exactly. You are looking to mentor, not be a business partner. I am not going to convince you to do things. I may be a little pushing, but not too much, you know, but like, I'm just here to guide you through this and help you and just show you this is what's worked for me and all the other students. This is how you can do it. So you don't have to like make all the same mistakes I did. So if you want to join that, you have to apply, because we do a Zoom group coaching call every week. So I do want to make sure that everyone's kind of a good fit, and that because we all talk to each other, and I like to keep it not small, but I like to keep the Zoom calls kind of intimate, so it's not a big group thing, so I can talk to each individual person if they need it. So I am not accepting everyone, but if you want to apply, link in bio. Your guidance has changed my world. I'm almost ready to open a shop. I'm going to cry and screenshot that. I'm going to come visit, Barbara. If you open a shop, I'm going to put a bunch of hairspray in and come to Florida. Do you review business plans? So that's something, we have a Facebook group just for the people in the program. That's something you can put in there, tag me in it, and I would be able to look that over. Or I have a thing where if you can't be in the group coaching call, because it's every Tuesday, you can submit a question ahead of time and just be like, hey, can you look over this? I'll look over it, put it in the, and then when we're on the call, I'll talk about it, and then you'll be able to rewatch it later. And then if you have more questions, you can ask them in the Facebook group.